And there was that one flashback that like when our Tata first came back from studying abroad, and like Tutin like puts his hand and like runs his hand down Tata's chest, and I was like, what the
What is
fuck are they
happening?
implying here?
They're
And then like he
brothers.
comes out Hi everyone, welcome to LoveCast, the BL podcast. I am your host, Alexa, and I have my fellow hosts, Kayla and Pixie, with me today.
Hi. Hello. I just remembered that we have people who actually listen to this and not watch us too.
Yeah, you have to speak. You can't just wave.
Actually speak.
But yes, so we are here for a deep dive today. We are doing a deep dive into Reset, which is a series that we have been following, excited for, supporting since its announcement, because it has Peter Pan in it, who you all know as a good friend of the show. We love supporting his work. We were originally going to do Reset as our next Patreon recap series, but it's the summer. We had a lot of vacations to work around. Kayla and I were in New York for a while, so we just did not have the time to put that into our Patreon schedule. But we wanted to talk about the series in depth in some form, so we decided to do a deep dive. And so that's why we're here today.
Yay. Yep.
So yeah, to start off, we will go over the synopsis for the series. So on the night of his greatest success, famous actor Armin dies after being betrayed by his lover. However, death is not the end. Going back in time and meeting mysterious fan TD, the path to superstardom begins again. So it's kind of a time slip, reset. I mean, the show's literally called Reset, but it's like a time slip drama where essentially the character of Armin dies. He goes back in time to the year 1999, not 1991, and basically has a chance to redo the trajectory of his life and try and prevent himself from dying in the future.
Can I say I was loving the nostalgia feel of it all? Like, this was my jam. I was 10 years old in that time frame. I loved it.
Yeah, I love shows that are like set in like the 80s and 90s. I think it's just like such like technologically and just like the way of life was just so specific, and I love that they like had those nods to like Y2K and like things like that. Like it's like this era where technology was developing, so like it's a period drama now, like that was 30 years ago. But in a very different sense from like a period drama if you're going back to like the early 1900s or something. Modern period drama almost. So it's a fun like time period to set a show in, I think, and I always love when shows do that. But yeah, I think we can start off with our thoughts on different aspects. But to start off, we will talk about the production. So I think, obviously, this show, I think, editing-wise and style-wise, is a little bit different than, I don't want to say typical, but like what we usually see from a BL, because this is a lakorn, lakorn inspired, I would say, heavily compared to a lot of the BLs, which are kind of like their own genre. But I think you see the lakorn style in the show a lot in the editing choices, a lot of the acting, just a lot of the acting choices that are made in the show, the graphics and things like that. I kind of put it in the same category as like To Sir with Love or Laws of Attraction. And that is like a BL lakorn, basically. Not a straight BL, not a straight lakorn.
I think anyone who watches BLs and haven't seen a lakorn before will notice that this is different because it very much is. I kind of enjoyed the whole soap opera style of it. Like that's what a lakorn is, like soap opera. But I really like, I don't think I could watch like every show like that. That would be too much drama for me. But just like getting that kind of vibe in a show sometimes, it's pretty good.
Yeah. No, and I think it really depends on like the genre of the show
Mm.
as well. Like I think a show about the entertainment industry in the late 90s like works for a soap
Works
opera
very well,
style
yeah.
of show. And I also think obviously like Pan is primarily like a lakorn
Lakorn
actor.
actor, yeah.
And Pond has done a lot of lakorn acting as well, although most people are probably more familiar with his BL works.
Isn't Pond, doesn't Pond also have a mom that's a Lakorn actress?
Possibly. That's not
I
an
don't actually
information that
know.
I knew, but yeah, I mean, hey.
I might be remembering wrong, but I think I heard that somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, someone can let us know. It's not a tidbit that I have ever heard before, but it could very much be true. If so, like I was just gonna say, like I think they both have acting styles that very much lend to the Lakorn style of show. So I think like that also helped it work in terms of editing and production.
With editing and production, I put in the thing about flashbacks because I feel like this finally, I was watching it and I was like, this is a show where the flashbacks are like placed perfectly in the series
Mm.
because
Mm-hmm.
like obviously they've reset their lives. Armin keeps
Yep.
like thinking about how things used to be before in the
Mm-hmm.
previous life that he lived. And so we flash back to that previous life a lot. And to me, I feel like it always made sense where they placed the flashback. The flashback
Mm-hmm.
always felt like really intentional. And I was just
Mm.
thinking, like, man, like, other series need to take notes because this is how
Yeah.
you tell a story. This is how you give background information. And
Yep.
it just, I really, really like the way that they flash back to Armin's
Yeah. I
previous past.
in some other shows that have been using flashbacks and stuff, I've had difficulties knowing when it's a flashback and when it's not. I feel like
Mm-hmm.
in Reset, it was very obvious what was
Yeah.
a flashback.
Yeah.
And
They even put
I'm just
like
like,
what
yes.
year it was or how long ago it was
Mhm.
like on screen, like it's written, which
Mhm.
honestly really helps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I feel like if you're not gonna do like an obvious flashback, it kind of makes the viewer like sit there and just like what's happening now? Like trying to figure out what the fuck is going on, so you can't pay attention to what is actually going on.
Yeah, I think I agree. I like that they like very clearly would like put on the screen like this is what year this is. This is his 2025 life, or like they would call it his past life. However they, and this is like what point in his career he was at. So like you had a very clear idea of like where they were flashing back to, and yeah, they were also like placed very pointedly to like juxtapose like what was happening in his current timeline or how things had been different. And I also like that because the show was only 10 episodes, like it worked that they didn't spend a lot of time like in his past life. Like they set up how he died, like what happened, what led up to that point, and then almost the entire show took place in the past minus the flashbacks, or took place in the reset, I guess I should say, minus the flashbacks to his past life until like we got up to 2025 again in the reset life where he was with Tada. So I like that they made the focus of the show by like strategically using the flashbacks and only spending so much time in that past life. Like it really honed in that the focus of the show was his
The
reset and him
reset,
getting a
yeah.
chance to do it
But
again.
you
Exactly.
do need the flashbacks to understand how he ended up to that point in his life where he died, because like his relationship with his best friend and everything, his auntie that
Yeah.
died and all of that especially, was very like, why did they were so good friends, why weren't they at the end, right? And when you see that, when you finally get that flashback, you're just like, oh wow, yes.
Yeah, it's a good way to show how Armin is viewing his second chance at life differently and
Mm-hmm.
like making very pointed decisions to keep those relationships intact or
Mm-hmm.
fix certain relationships that ended up like being very negative in his past life.
Yeah,
So,
it almost feels like he in the reset he is not being as desperate, because in all the flashbacks and everything he is always so like the hustle, desperate,
yeah.
confused, like he doesn't know what he's doing, like he's very all over the place, but he feels so centered when he comes back to his reset, except in the situations where he goes, oh god, he is drama, like he's not dramatic, he is drama. Oh my god.
Yeah, there were definitely some moments where he loses like his composure, I would say. Very much
He
like
throws his composure out the window.
yeah, and
Honestly,
like we could
valid.
talk yeah, like we could talk about it more in like when we get a little bit later in the episode because I do
Yeah.
have some thoughts about like
Yeah.
how his motivations like changed throughout the show and like how
Yeah.
that changed him as a character. But yeah, no, I
Yeah.
think yeah, I think they did a good job of like showing the juxtaposition between Armin in the past life and how he ended up dying and becoming reset Armin and like how he made different acting choices or life choices, I guess,
Yeah.
with that opportunity. One thing I thought was really interesting is that the director of this show, he's actually largely, like at least for his BL and GL works, been a director for Idol Factory. So he was a director of Gap. He was a director of The Sign. He was a director of My Magic Prophecy, which is the GMMTV show that's currently airing with Jimmy C. But I think people were particularly excited like with The Sign. And I think My Magic Prophecy in a way is a little bit relevant too, in that he is a director that does kind of have experience with that fantasy element that
Yeah.
comes with like
I was gonna say, like, this reset too, it did I'm not surprised that he directed at The Sign as well, because there are like, even though it's not similar stories at all, there's a lot of similarities in how it's filmed and showed, and yeah, and I see improvement from The Sign as well. Like the issues I had with The Sign, I don't have the same issues in Reset. Yeah.
I think it was a show that benefited from only being 10 episodes. Like, even though, like, I was sad we only got 10 episodes, like, when I finished the finale and I was thinking about the plot of the show and, like, what Armin's character needed to go through, what Tada as a character needed to go through. Like, I think it was a plot line that they did well fitting into 10 episodes.
Yep.
And I feel like if it had been expanded even to
More
12, like, I would have felt like we would have gotten to the
fillers.
point where stuff would have had to be added in. But because it was 12 episodes, like, nothing felt, and because, like, this is another thing we could touch on previously, like, Armin and Tada were almost entirely the focus. Like there were other characters, but like they were the plot line. So like I
Yeah.
think they were able to fit their story into 10 episodes and like it felt like 10 episodes was the right length for that show.
Yes.
So I
I
think that
kind
was
of
a smart
love
editing
that.
choice.
I kind of love that they weren't like pushing other romances on us. Like there were like hints of
Lanai and
things.
Janine.
We'll get into that.
Yeah.
but it was mainly like a proper storyline with this main couple, and this is why like we talked a while back about the Next Prince and how it feels like the show is made around the ship and not the ship is inserted into the show. And this is more, feels like this is a story that found actors and put them in. It's not built around a ship, and it's very
Yeah.
obvious in the storytelling.
Yeah.
Agreed,
Absolutely. Yeah, I think that that's been a lot of like, and this, I guess we can kind of move into discussion about like the acting and the casting and stuff like that, because a lot of the talk around Pan and Pond is the fact that Pan, obviously, like, he has only had one support role in a BL previously, and after that he's done exclusively lakorns, and before that he did exclusively lakorns. But Pond is someone who has been known to like not, he's been in multiple BLs and he's never had a set ship.
Main character in a lot of
Yeah.
stuff.
And so like that's something that people have always like enjoyed about Pond, is that he's not someone who, and I don't know if it's something he's explicitly said that he doesn't want a set ship, or if it's that he's just been interested in all these different projects and so he's chosen to do them. But yeah, I think the fact that they, like you said, like they had the story and they pulled in actors that they felt were best for the story as individual actors, and they just happened to have like chemistry that really, really surprised people, because it's chemistry that we had never seen before, because they'd never acted together before. So yeah, I think them kind of being two actors that came into this as a completely fresh project, like it works really well. And I know a lot of people are like wanting to see them do another project together, but like it's almost,
I don't
like,
mind
hey,
if that doesn't happen. Like, I'm
it's a
fine
one-hit
with
wonder, so be it.
Yeah, I mean,
Probably will
if I hope Pan does more BL and I hope Pond does more BL. Does it need to be together? No, not necessarily. I'm not a big fan of shipping. I don't think it's necessary. I do like some ships. That's not it. But I often it takes away from the story when they're forcing ships into these shows. So yeah, I'm fine with them not working together, but it would be fun seeing them together too. If the roles fit them, because the whole clue here is Pond fits Armin as a character so well. Like, who else could do that? Like, no one else could do that.
No one.
Every episode I was just like, that is my baby girl, and like now I am coming out of this like, I don't know, just baby girl princess Armin. Like, Pond was made to play that role. And like,
And
puppy
Pan?
CEO, like obsessed with his partner boyfriend Pan, like, I don't know, it just, yeah, they work so well for the characters.
They were so good. Like, and Pan doing, like, Tada is probably the most unproblematic CEO character I've ever experienced. It's just like so unproblematic, and Pan does it so well.
Is this where I talk about all the comparisons of Tada to Kunyai? Because the amount of I Feel You Linger in the Air and Reset comparisons that I have seen, but specifically because Tada and Kunyai like have, even though like Yai is not a CEO, but like I think the power dynamics of their characters and just like the green flag puppy nature, like besotted with their partner dynamic that they took on, a lot of people found very similar. But yeah, I think like Tada as a character has like a lot of extremes. Like, I think we'll talk about it later, like some of his behavior. But I think he's also like so endearing in the way like he is just like almost like a puppy. I keep saying that, but like he is like a puppy in a lot of ways. Just like,
one good example of that is when he gets jealous. He just like walks over to the corner and just like
broods in the corner.
It's just sulking.
Grumpy cat.
Yeah, no, I think they were really well fit for the roles. And I know like in the novel, I remember the author tweeted about this, like in the novel, I think Tada was originally supposed to be like in his 40s, and then they aged him down to being in his 30s for the show. And like even that, like Pan is what, like I think 25, so even that, like he's having to like focus in on playing a CEO in his 30s, and then like Pond playing someone who died like in his 40s or 50s, and so is going back to life with like the soul of a 40 to 50-year-old but being in like his 25-year-old body. Like, I just think they did such a good job of like emulating that character dynamic. Like there were those moments where like Armin would be very playful and be like, I'm actually an old man compared to you if you think about it. Like that kind of stuff I just thought was so fun. And you can tell they had a lot of fun with the roles and stuff like that, which I think really lended to the chemistry working.
The chemistry, honestly, everyone else take notes. Take notes. Because, like, they should be teaching, like, a class on chemistry. It was just unreal. And again, so unexpected because we've never seen them act together before. Or even, I think, act in roles like this before. It was a lot. And it was really good.
Yeah. I loved it so much. I just had so much fun watching them each week. And I think like the chemistry could shine because like we touched on, there was no other real secondary romance in the show. Like there was the hint at Wenai and Janine, and I am fully on board.
I am so on board
with that little romance. I love
so
that
good.
the actors like were into it as well. I love when shows kind of like hint at that and then like they leave it up to the audience's imagination. Like we got these little moments that were enough to hook us in, and then like we just like have fun with it, and like I love that kind of stuff. And I just love,
I had
like,
to
that
look
dynamic.
up Vinay's actor after that scene with them, Janine and Vinay. I'm just like, who is that? the blend of Thai and English.
Oh my god,
that's how you do it. That
Yeah,
is how you do it. Like
it was
there's
good.
something so hot about it. I don't know.
He's so like, I saw people say like he's so American. Like you can tell like
Yes.
that actor is like he's so American in the way he says things, but like it works for his character. And I also think it works that like Pan is fluent in English as well, so like their characters like kind of flowing between Thai and
CEO
English
thing,
worked. But yeah, I love Wenai is such a fun character, and like he that man deserved 10 raises. Like he was doing everything. He was the bodyguard.
And
was
he got
assistant,
shot.
He was a delivery man. He got shot.
Cupid. Like, dude.
The relationship as it was would not exist if not for Wenai. Like truly. But yeah, I also really want to shout out to Bohm, who played Q-Tip, because playing into like the lakorn style of this drama, him as the over the top campy villain was just so fun to watch. Like I had a blast watching like his huge mannerisms and like the dramatic elements of his character. Like I just thought he was such a fun villain to watch.
It was really fun watching him, and I just like I said, like I was sitting there with the thought that someone needs to slap the shit out of him. But
and like that's what you want, like with the type of character he was supposed to be playing. Like he was so obnoxious in the best way. And like I know like we talked to Bohm and NJ, and he talked about how difficult it was for him to like get that energy correct, because like he does not look like someone who would play a villain. So like I feel like he really had like just like leaning into the campiness and the fact that like he doesn't look like someone who would be this like cartoonishly evil, but like he was. And I think because he leaned into like the theatrics of it all, it made it work for like this lakorn style of drama.
Talking about theatrics,
Oh my God.
first as that bitch is like the best thing.
Perfect.
He was so good. I was just like, is he drawing on? Has he experienced this before? Like, this is too believable.
No, I just the villain characters in the show, and like I said, I think it works because they leaned into the lakorn, and they were able to be so over the top, and like it worked in the story. And I feel like the actors just had a lot of fun like playing into that. Like I think they were such fun villains to watch, like in the best possible way.
100%.
Yeah.
There was like a lot of other supporting casts as well. I think like, I don't know if it's necessarily a critique, but there are a lot of characters who, based on the way they were promoted, I thought were going to be like super relevant to the show, but they weren't necessarily. For example, like Shell, which in hindsight, it's probably better that he did not have a huge role in the show, because some stuff came out about him while that show was airing. But like, and I think it's just like the way these shows promote, like they obviously want to include the full cast, but there were some characters who like just showed up for a scene or two that I was like, oh, like I thought maybe you would be like more relevant to the.
Yeah, if, talking about Shell, he is even listed on my drama list as a guest role.
Yeah, and that's
So
like,
not even a support. He's guest.
and like
Yeah.
maybe they just wanted to like put everyone in the poster and include everyone in the promotions, but like he is one, and like the other actor that Armin's former manager kept trying to promote, like
Yeah, that was so
he
weird.
is one. I was like, he felt like, I don't even remember his character's name. Like he had maybe one or two lines.
Pat?
Pat was Armin's friend.
No, Pat was the friend.
Yeah, I
Yes.
can't even remember his name. But yeah, like it's like I thought maybe just like the way
Was it Achi?
it might have been Achi. I think it's Achi. Yes. Yeah, it just felt like some of the characters would have more of a role than they did. And like I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing, because you don't want too many like things going on
chefs.
at once. Cooks in the kitchen, that's the phrase. But yeah, so there was a lot of cast, a lot of people, but I think like the varying levels of utilization, I guess, worked. It's just like I expected there to be more from certain characters than there was, but I don't think that's a bad thing, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, Sam, too, didn't have a really huge part, even though he's like, yeah.
Yeah, no,
I mean,
that
but
was one
it
that
kind of
surprised me.
lends to the story not really focusing on the cheating that happened and the death. That's not the point of the story. The reset is the point. So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, everyone that was in the story was like relevant to the central characters. So like everyone was connected to Armin and Tada in some way, shape, or form, which like really lended to them being like the main focus of the story.
Yeah. I mean, Armin was talking about Charlie more than Charlie had screen time. So,
That's true.
And like I said, I think that's for the best.
Yeah.
As for the cast, I am a little bit disappointed that there weren't more women in the show. I thought I thought we were kind of over just like throwing like 80% men into the show when women could have had those parts. Some of them wouldn't have mattered if it was a man or a woman, right? So a little bit of disappointed, but still, like, they in general, like, it's really good casting. So yeah,
The manager, and then Two Tits Mom.
Lily and
I think those were.
Yeet.
I guess that's Two Tits Mom.
Uh,
But yeah.
Pavadi was Tivtit's mom, and you have Yeed and
Oh,
Lily
Aunt
who are
Jeed.
the managers. Yeah,
Aunt Jeed. Yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
and Jeed's, yeah, and Lily, yeah. But wasn't there one more? Why isn't?
There's first manager, or his character's manager.
Oh, yes,
Ren's
yes,
manager.
yes, yes, yes.
Yeah, yeah, because she's not on the roster list. Where's she?
Yeah, I think sometimes my drama list doesn't include actors
Women.
if they. It's probably like they don't have a my drama list profile for that actress, so they just excluded her from the
I'm just kidding.
cast setup.
So they were like sometimes showing up a total of 4 women in the show.
Yeah.
It does not pass the Bechdel test at all. All these women are talking about men.
Yeah.
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 I don't think any of the women actually have a conversation one-on-one.
No, they're all kind of separate from each other.
Yeah.
I would say, aside from like the two managers, Lily and first like Ren's manager, maybe acknowledge each other at some point.
Yeah, but I don't think they said a word to each other.
Yeah.
Yeah. Unfortunate, but yeah. If we're gonna criticize something.
Yeah. I guess just moving into, like, in general, some of the elements to talk about a bit deeper in regards to, like, the writing and the story. One of the things that I wanted to like, kind of talk about in regards to Armin, which kind of goes back to what you were saying, Pixie, about him just, like, sometimes just throw in, like, I think, like, one of the critiques I saw about the show, maybe about Armin as a character kind of in that way, is that like, he started his reset life, like, so after revenge and, like, so determined to figure out who killed him, and, like, I feel like that's kind of what led to a lot of, like, those outburst moments where he was just, like, yelling out people about being from the future with, like, no real regard to, like, how that would come off to people, and then I think people kind of felt like in the second half of the show, like, he just kind of forgot about that completely, maybe, or almost felt like,
I feel like he came to a realization, but I don't feel like they did make it very, very clear. I think, like, when he was trying to get his revenge on Charlie in the room, and Tada comes and ruins everything, he had, like, a whole thing about not that revenge isn't, like, the real answer here. If I can get them out of my life, then I can live a better life.
Yeah, my thought was kind of like, our man was almost, like, floundering when he first got reset, and I think he just assumed he was reset to figure out who killed him, and so that's why he was so, like, when he first got reset, was so focused on, like, trying to find Charlie and trying to figure out, like, if it was Winter's character who killed him, or if it was Ren who killed him, and things like that. But
he's
I think
not a killer. Like, what could he do? Like,
yeah, and, like, I think because they were enemies, like, in his past life, like, and he was with them on that night, like, they just naturally became his suspects and things like that.
Dude,
but I think
I would be pissed off too if I met someone who killed me again. Like,
yeah. Yeah,
it's valid.
I think he was floundering because he was trying to figure out, like, he assumed that was his purpose for being reset. But I think, like, you kind of see once he made the choice to be with Tada, he also made the choice to make the purpose of his reset. And, like, there kind of can be arguments about, like, was it destiny versus was it an active choice? But once he, like, admitted his feelings for Tada, acted on his feelings for Tada, he
let go of everything else.
Yeah, like, he said multiple times, like, the reason I came back to reset was so I could love you. And, like, once he made that, like, his reason for reset, I think seeking out revenge and, like, having this, like, really, like, angry and vengeful reasoning and, like, moving about his career in order to get revenge and become better than all these actors became less relevant.
Yeah, and you see that with his relationship with Pat and Auntie. Like, he makes them something important again. Like, he realizes that how I went through life wasn't good. I need to repair this because this is what I want, and I realized that too late. And he has a second chance. Like, it goes from being revenge to second chance.
Yeah, and I think even with, like, Winter's character as well, whose name I don't remember. Pirate, thank you. Like, that was, like, one of his rivals in his past life, and even, like, when he first reset, like, they kind of started off on that negative note because Armin saw him as a potential suspect, but like, throughout the show, as Armin's motivations change, they kind of naturally, like, move out of that territory, and, like, they're not even necessarily friends, but, like, they're able to work together as co-workers and things like that, and, like, he just kind of naturally lets go of, like, suspecting anything negative of Pirate or, like, these other characters. Obviously, Ren did have very ill intentions towards him and was low-key complicit in trying to kill him for a second time. Dude,
I love Ren as a character. I can't. At first did it so well. Like, this is the kind of character First needs to play.
Yeah, but Yeah, I just think like it was almost like his purposeful for his character to like go from being sought out, so focused on seeking out revenge to not caring about it because he realized that wasn't important once he chose Tada.
100%.
I just love series where people are able to go back in time and like change the trajectory of their lives. Like my series comparison to this would be My Stand-In. Like that's why I loved My Stand-In so much, is because it's like a very similar thing of like one decision could change your life. You can go back and fix the things that you did before. And I just love it because it like kind of forces you to think introspectively about your own life and be like, if I was in Armin's shoes, what would I go back and change? Would I go back and change? I think I like the self introspection that the series gave me, even though it is kind of existential at the same time. But that can't be helped. I have a question though.
Yep.
Is Armin sent back in time? Like, is he reset because Tada wishes for it to happen?
That's I think that's kind of the consensus that a lot of the fandom came to. I always thought that Tada was the reason for the reset. I never like for when the show first started, I like was unsure if like he was aware, like if he purposely did the reset or if it was something he unknowingly did. And then as the show progresses and we see him kind of getting those flashes of the past life, which he was viewing them as dreams where he was like losing Armin, but that was like the past life where he did. So I think he was like, I kind of read it as him using that dying wish to have the chance to meet Armin again and like actively saying, if I meet you again, I will not stand in the background. Like I won't be in the shadows anymore. I took that as like triggering the reset.
Yep.
That makes sense.
Yeah. I always thought it was, there were a lot of like moments where it kind of hinted like the design on Tada's watch and things like that. There were like these small little details that were like made you think of like time resetting and things like that. But in the end, like, yeah, I originally wondered like if he was aware, like did he purposely turn back time? Like did he unknowingly do it? But I do think like in the end he was kind of the unknowing reason for unintentional reason for the reset.
I mean, if you see it, Tada's obsession with Armin from both lives. Yep, I can believe that he sent him back. I think that is not far-fetched at all. And I think like considering how Armin didn't realize how fucked up his life was, because like he's lost his best friend, his auntie, he's lost so many people in his quest to become the best, and he hasn't even noticed that he's lost them. Like and he doesn't even notice his boyfriend cheating on him before it's too late. Like so it doesn't make sense that it's because of him the reset is happening, because he's oblivious to all of this. So yeah, I it makes sense that it was Tada all along.
I think it's like it kind of leads to an interesting discussion of like destiny versus choice, because you can say like, I think you can make a pretty strong argument that okay, maybe because Armin made these choices in the past life, that and because Tada made the choice to stay in the background in the past life, and Armin made all these choices that made him not connect with or recognize Tada in the same way he did once he reset, like that also triggered the reset because they were destined to be, so they needed to give them a chance to do it the right way almost. So I think it's like an interesting discussion of like choice versus destiny, and like maybe it's a combination of both, like they were destined to be together, but also their choices are what allowed that destiny to happen, or what gave them the reset to make it happen.
Before the reset, Armin wasn't really appreciating TD, like recognizing all the things that he was doing for him. Like you can see in his acceptance speech, he doesn't even mention TD at all, which is crazy. But then you get in the reset, you get the whole difference with him sitting in the interview and mentioning TD, and how much he appreciates. It just shows how the reset changed him and his thought process, I guess, having Tada in his life. Yeah.
And I think it also shows how Tada changed too, because Tada in the previous life was making the active choice to keep everything he was doing from Armin as much of like a secret as possible. Like that's why he chose the identity of TD as opposed to doing everything as himself. But he kind of talked about, like, I think it was he was talking to like when he first decided, like after the reset happened, and like he didn't necessarily realize, but he said like he felt like he needed to be in certain places at certain times to meet Armin. Like when Armin ran off the set and like TD pulled up to him on the road, or when he got poisoned again at the party and TD showed up in the rain. Like TD was saying like, I felt like I had to be there at these moments, because those are moments in the past that TD chose to like.
Isn't that like sort of I don't know what word to describe it, but considering that when he was younger, he was ready to jump off the bridge, and Armin suddenly there stopping him, being there at the right time, and then in the reset, Tada is feeling like this pull to be there for Armin when he needs him.
Yeah, that's why I really think like one of the things the show was trying to say is like, I don't know, I think they're really trying to like bring this discussion of like destiny versus choice, because I think with Armin and Tada, it was really both. Like you can be destined for certain things, but also like your active choices impact that as well. And that's kind of what Kayla was saying about the butterfly effect too, of like the choices you make lead to your destiny like working out in certain ways. So I don't know, it's a really like interesting, it's like I feel like a lot of the times shows when they do like a soulmate or a destiny trope, it's kind of like you're gonna end up with this person no matter what, because you are soulmates. But I think the show really showed like there are a lot of choices that Armin and Tada didn't make in the past life that they made in the reset that allowed them to actually like fulfill their role as soulmates, maybe, if that's a way to put it.
Yeah, it's a kind of like you're going through life without actually meeting your soulmate, even though he's right there. But you can't, like Armin can't see him, and Tada is just, I'm not sure what. Yeah, I'm not sure why Tada was keeping to the shadows. Maybe he was afraid of being too. Because he's a very careful person. Like, maybe he was afraid of being, like, a stalker. Because he doesn't breach any boundaries with Armin in the first life.
Yeah, I think, like, maybe approaching it from the perspective of being Armin's fan, like, just his fan, was his way to, like, kind of rationalize a lot of the things they were doing. Because, like, you know, and this is like one of the points we have to talk about deeper, like a lot of his actions are like bordering on very stalkerish and obsessive. Like he knows a lot of information about Armin, and like he does a lot of things for Armin that obviously a normal person would not do, even if he is like the CEO of your company. And so I think at least in the past life, like him saying like, oh, I'm just doing this because I'm his fan, was almost like his way of like rationalizing it, like I'm just supporting him in this like very extreme way. And then like obviously in the reset, like he chose to do that from a place of like romantic love instead, although he still started out as saying he was just his fan. He definitely,
the stalker thing is something that I really wondered about. Because I know you were thinking like the whole time, like, oh, he's such a lover boy, and like I see that, but also I was kind of like, it is definitely very unhinged for someone to just like watch over someone from afar for over a decade basically stalking them, and then also like orchestrating their entire like career in the
Yeah.
background. It's very like almost manipulative in a way, even though he is like very hands off with a lot of things. But yeah, it's just something that
I
I
mean,
wondered
he
about because
is
I was like, this is
only.
so.
I will say this, like, yes, it's a little bit manipulative, but he is also just doing what Armin wants for himself. Like, if Armin didn't want that career, Tada wouldn't be pushing him into it either, right? So but it's a little bit problematic. It is.
I
But
mean, as
like
long
I
as
said,
Armin isn't into it, then I guess sure.
I mean, Armin knows that TD is someone that is following him and doing things for him, and like it's not a secret. TD is not a secret. Armin knows about TD. So it's just like it's this really interesting talk about, okay, what is a fan and what is a stalker? Because technically, how much information do you know about Nunu?
A lot.
Yeah.
All public information, first of all, but yeah.
True, but I'm guessing like the information about Armin when he was starting out was pretty public too. Like get like a phone book back in the day and find the address of people. It's not that hard, especially if they're in the company that like adjacent to yours. Like yeah, you know. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna stop talking about stalkers and fans.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, he definitely did not have a real sense of boundary, I would say. But yeah, I mean, I think there were times where, like, at least like after when they went into the reset and like Armin was aware of what Tada was doing, he was definitely like putting him in his place more, or Tada was doing things that Armin was, I won't say on board with, but I think he pulled back a lot, like once Armin was like actually aware of what was going on, and like Armin was not afraid to put him in his place. Like there was that whole thing with like all the bodyguards on the set and like Armin pulling him aside and quite literally like scolding him like a little kid and being like yeah. But no, yeah, I mean like I can't deny that his behaviors were quite over the top at times, for sure.
It does fit the lakorn vibe. I will say that. Everything he does has to be so like exaggerated. Like he can't just the way that he handles things has to be extreme, I think. And he is also dealing with some pretty extreme characters himself. I mean, like they are trying to kill like Armin.
I would argue that Tada has the more dramatic life. Even though Armin was
you
the
kind
one
of
that
find
died.
out in the end that everything bad that happened to Armin was because Tutit was trying to get revenge on Tada. So let's talk about it.
Pseudo
yeah, you lost
incest.
like that scene where Titwit is talking about, like, you lost me there. Like what? Like,
I did not previously read any of his actions towards Armin as coming from a romantic standpoint. Yeah. And then there was that one flashback that, like, when our Tada first came back from studying abroad, and, like, Tutit, like, puts his hand and, like, runs his hand down Tada's chest, and I was like, what the fuck are they implying here? And then like he comes out later, like then he has like his little like obsession drawer with like all of his pictures and magazines of Tada, and then like he flat out says later on like he wanted to be in Armin's place, and like if he had been in Armin's place, like it just like never, I will say, never read to me before. No. Whenever they first showed that flashback that Tutit was coming from a place of like romantic obsession and then revenge because he didn't get that romance.
They wanted a big reveal, so they didn't put anything.
It certainly surprised me.
Yeah, I think it's a mistake that they didn't hint to it any point of the show, because it becomes a little bit jarring when it's just suddenly thrown in your face and you're just like, what? How?
Yeah. I mean, it does kind of like, there was a lot of the time where I was wondering, like, obviously Two Tit wanted his stake in the company, and like that was part of his reasoning for trying to get back at Tada, because Tada kicked in him and his mom out of the company. But it was also so interesting to me whenever he would be like to Tada, like, this is all your fault, when really like Two Tit's mom was the one who got caught embezzling money and led to them being kicked out of the company.
Yeah.
So like I guess like when you look back at it from the lens of like Two Tit being in love with Armin the whole time and Armin not reciprocating that love, like maybe that's where he was coming from with some of that like overreaction. But it, like, I never
you know what, here's another example of them referencing things and then not showing it, because why did Two Tit even like Tada? He says he makes a comment about him and Tada being close at one point, but we never ever see them being close at all.
No.
So it's like,
Tada, it seemed like, has
this?
always hated them, because Tada explicitly said like he associated Two Tit and his mom with Tada's dad's portrayal of Tada's mom. So I don't think Tada ever liked them or ever saw Two Tit as being part of his family.
I can't say his name. Tit. I'm gonna call him Tit. Tit does mention that he saw Tada and him as being the same. They had so much in common, but obviously that was very one-sided. I think like he really looked up to Tada throughout his childhood. Like, this is someone I look up to.
Yeah, I think it was delusion. A lot of delusion, like viewing their relationship as something that it never was from Tada's perspective.
Yeah.
Because like I think Tada was very clear that he never liked Two Tit or his mom, but I think for whatever reason, we don't really see like why Two Tit latched on to Tada, but like I think he deluded himself into all of these interactions being like them being the iconic duo that they could have been.
Dude,
and then him losing that
100% it was because of the mom. Like the mom is not a good person, okay? And I doubt she's been like really nurturing to her son.
Yeah. He obviously had a lot going on underneath the surface.
And he had like, okay, his mom probably didn't care about him and ignored him, and then he had like a older brother that he suddenly got and thought they had like this great relationship, and he looked up to him and wanted to be him and whatever, and then his dreams are just crushed, and that led to the whole villain era. Tits villain era.
Yeah, it's definitely something we didn't really see from like a character background perspective, I will say.
Yeah.
So it definitely felt like, I think you can tie the motivations back if you think about it, but like just watching it happen, you're like, literally like when they showed that flashback scene and like Two Tit started like acting flirty, I was like, am I reading this behavior wrong? Like, is this how we act towards our step siblings now? Like, I was so confused by like,
I was so confused.
why that interaction
like,
suddenly went so like
show?
sexual. I was like, why are we flirting with our
honestly
stepbrother? Like,
I just at the time, like, I was thinking, well, Two Tit doesn't seem like he's really all there. Like, he's very, like we said, he's very theatrical. Like, I don't know, he just like seems like his mood swings a lot.
Yeah.
But I mean, we do see at the end he quite literally has like a psychotic break when he is in prison. I don't know if he was in prison or a psychiatric hospital. Like, he got sentenced to 20 years in prison, but then like they showed him like in this yard like with a doctor, so I'm wondering if they put him in like a psychiatric facility, like a high security one or something. But he does like, and after it like happens after he like that final thing where Armin falls off the building again, he like has a break at that moment, and I don't think he ever recovers from it based on what we saw. But there was that was a reveal. I was very like, oh, I did not know what to make of that. I will say
coming at all.
Oh, that's not
But yeah, it was, I mean, hey, talk about a villain era. Talk about a villain arc, I guess. And then, like, one of the other things we had to talk about, diving into deeper, was kind of the different ways they showed of doing what you have to do to make it in the industry. I think this is where a lot of, like, Lily's character came in, because she was quite literally, like, prostituting Ashy out under the guise of, like, convincing him that that will get him his big break. And, like, you kind of saw every time that it did not get him his big break. She was always just like, oh, to the presumably people that she was having Achi sleep with, she was like, oh, consider Achi for your next production. But
and she pockets a lot of money from it.
Yeah, she's pocketing most of the money.
She's a pimp.
And quite literally.
She's a pimp, yeah.
And then, like, we see in both lives, like, Armin kind of actively choosing to refuse going down that lifestyle. And I think that's why Lily so actively hated Armin, because she did not want to play into her little pimping out scheme to make extra money on the side. So yeah, like, the dark side of the industry.
She was obviously not making money on him from the shows or movies he was in, because
yeah, he was not doing so hot at the beginning. That also ties into Ren kind of, like, going off of the deep end, trying to destroy Armin, because he saw him as competition, and using all of these, like, tactics and trying to slander him in the media, and, like, going so far as to like, he said he didn't know that Two Tip was planning to actually shoot Armin, and, like, I want to believe that he didn't really know, but, you know, kind of going that far to try and, like, get rid of Armin because he saw him as such a threat to his own success and things like that. So definitely a lot of, like, deep and dark sides of the industry being shown.
I think, like, with Ren especially, like, his I would say that he had a breakdown at the point when he was releasing the pictures of Charlie and Armin. And you can, like, see it building up, because he keeps trying to sabotage, and it's not working at all. Like, it just gets better for Armin, whatever he does. And he just gets to a point where he's just, like, he loses it, literally. Like, chews out his manager and just goes on the deep end. And I fight, like, you can see how it escalates on how First is acting. Like, the way he portrayed the character is so interesting, because he looks so put together at the beginning, but it's just a facade, and it's just getting worse and worse and worse until you have, like, the scream out with the manager, and he's just, like, being that bitch. Like, holy shit. And it's great. I just love that sequence.
I always thought it was really funny with Ren, like, when he first started trying to, I guess, take down Armin, and, like, he had all of those photographs of Armin going to meet Charlie, and he met with Two Tip because Two Tip was trying to bring Armin into his plan from the beginning. But Ren was like, oh, don't worry, like, I know what I'm doing, like, Tada is no match for me. And then Two Tip was like, don't you think I know my brother? And Ren was like, I don't need your help right now. Like, just, like, and it was so funny to watch him be, like, so completely wrong about that, and see that just get worse. Like, every time he tried to, like, prove himself right, basically, like, thinking he could handle Tada, and everything Tada had to back Armin, like, just get, like, more and more desperate, which led to that, like, breakdown, and him eventually, like, being in with Two Tit and going with his plan, and then disappearing with his mom in the end. But yeah, it was a really interesting, like, they showed a lot of different, I guess, and, like, they talked about it in the final episode, where, like, Ren very obviously being an example of someone who made the wrong choices to in order to, I guess, achieve fame, versus like Indy, was that his name, who kind of ended up falling into Ren's role in the movie just by circumstance, because Ren got...
He played Naren.
Indy was the actor, yes, who played the character of Naren, thank you. Yeah, so, like, they had a very pointed discussion in, like, that movie premiere scene about how Ren's actions led to him being where he was. So I think that was definitely one of the points they wanted to make in terms of like choice and where your actions can lead you.
Yeah.
I have to say, Tada is kind of a PR king. Like, how did he always know exactly how to frame things in the media to get everyone on Armin's side?
Truly.
Every single time. Like, he was so good at manipulating the press and just, like, he's just a king at it. I don't know.
Yeah, that has to be, like, a side effect of growing up with, like, an evil stepmother. Like...
Maybe. He just has a
I
lot
mean,
of
yeah,
people.
I mean, I guess he is the CEO of an entertainment company, so I guess it kind of comes with the territory, but he really did, like, no matter what situation was thrown at them, like, he figured out how to make it work for them somehow, some
Dude,
way.
he is a proper CEO. CEO doesn't see problems. They see solutions.
Yes. And
I always thought it was so funny, though, like, in retrospect, like, imagine the other artists in Crown Entertainment seeing how Tada literally out of nowhere started doing everything for Armin. Like, if I was another artist in that company, I would be like,
yeah,
why don't I get personal, like, PR plans from the CEO? Like,
yeah,
like,
that's why I
like,
said nepotism, because Armin
Nepotism,
technically
yeah.
has nepotism that nobody else has.
Yeah,
nepotism
100%.
because the CEO is in love with him.
Yeah. No. Yeah.
It's just so funny to imagine the other actors in that company, like, and they kind of touched on it with Naren, because Naren was in a similar trajectory and where he had like a sexual relationship with TD in order to like get his fame, but because Tada wasn't in love with him, like, it was like you could see the difference between the way he was treating the two of them as people. So yeah. He was not shy about playing his favorites, I'll say that.
No, he would pop out publicly with
like,
Armin too, which I also think is so crazy. Like, he's just following him personally to all these events. I'm like, is no one like picking up on this?
No one questioned that? No. I think the way Tada acted toward Naren, especially in the first time we see, like, Naren approaching him and confessing and whatever, like, I thought in that moment, I'm just, Tada, what the fuck? Why are you an asshole? Like, what did that poor boy do? Dude.
Yeah.
That was kind of assholey, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think he was willing to basically say fuck you to everyone in light of making himself look good in Armin's eyes, or trying to make himself look good in Armin's eyes. And so, like, everyone else was kind of collateral damage. So, I mean, I think it is fair to say that outside of Armin, like, maybe Tada wasn't the best person to everyone. I don't think he was a bad person. Like, he was not, like, evil, but I think he was very much like, I only care about this person, and everyone else, like, if you can help me care about this person, good. If you can't, like...
Can we compare it to how in My Beautiful Man he puts him on, like, a pedestal?
Absolutely. I mean, I would see Tada having a shrine to Armin in his house somewhere. I mean, in the past life, he died holding a portrait of Armin. Like...
The way he kept the can of beer.
Oh my god. Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah. Yes. No, I wouldn't be surprised if somewhere in that big ass mansion there was an Armin shrine hanging out somewhere.
Yeah.
But he definitely put him on a pedestal. And I do think, like, actually interacting with Armin I think Armin very actively had to bring himself down off that pedestal in Tada's eyes at times, but yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we almost always just get to see Tada through Armin's eyes. So it's kind of hard to know how he actually treats other people. But like you said, it doesn't really feel like he's a bad person.
No, I don't think he's a bad person.
Pan could never be a bad person.
Yeah, I mean, in the same way that, like, Kayla has bias like towards Zia Nanu, like and loving this show because of Zia Nanu. I do think I have loving The Next Prince because of Zia Nanu. Like I do like there's obvious bias.
Oh,
like
100%
this was my
bias.
nepotism show. Like talking about
yeah,
nepotism, this was my
100%.
nepotism show.
I'm just like sitting watching that, and I'm just like, we've hung out with that man, and I can't.
Yeah. I just think like it was it was just so cool to see him on the screen again, and like genuinely so pleasantly surprised by like the chemistry in the show and the trajectory of where it went. But I think I was gonna like this show no matter what.
Yeah, I kind of feel like we're biased, but in my biased opinion, he was amazing.
Yeah, I mean, being biased towards things is a part of life, and I think you can still critique things in light of that bias. So
Definitely.
Well, any overall final thoughts about the series as a whole, or any other thoughts that we didn't touch on that you guys had?
Not really. I just really enjoyed the show, and I am probably going to watch it again. And it's definitely on the top list of the best BLs this year. And one of the things that I really, really liked is that I felt like it was something new. It didn't feel like the same. I don't want to say boring, because I don't mean that the BLs we get are boring, but there are a lot of similarities with the BLs that come out, and it was just great to get something new, something adult, something dramatic. I don't know. So yeah, I think like it has great rewatch value, and there was a lot going on, and
yeah, I think like when I'm thinking about this show, like I just had a lot of fun watching it. I laughed a lot. I connected with the characters and their emotions a lot. I think like the editing style, like in the lakorn vibe, almost like kind of lended to it feeling refreshing. And I just, it was a nice like switch up in like the typical style of BL. And I think it was an interesting like kind of take on destiny and rebirth and soulmate. So yeah, I had a lot of fun with it, and I'm really glad that like a person, an actor that I really enjoy was one of the main roles, and it was a good one for me.
Yeah,
I really liked it. Like I said, it reminded me a lot of my stand-in in some ways, but yeah, this was my nighttime show. I really loved watching it at night and then just like thinking about it in retrospect to my own life. And, you know, I've been a Pawn fan since 180 Degrees, and I've been really, really wanting to get invested in another show that he's in, and I was just not disappointed at all by his performance in this show. He really made it for me. I loved his take on Armin, and I agree that he is Armin. Like, he is him. She's just so good. And yeah, Pan, I mean, the last time we saw him, the material he was given wasn't that great. So it was really refreshing to see him get to showcase his acting chops. Just like them together is really... It was really great. I think, I mean, everything that we talked about, I agree with you guys. Like, I don't really have any qualms about the show, really. And yeah, I just really enjoyed it. And I think it would be one of my top shows this year, too, because I thought just the storytelling was really solid. Like, they set out, they knew what they were going to tell, and they did it. They executed it perfectly. Even though Two-Tit randomly loving Tata felt kind of weird. Even that, I'm like, sure, what the hell? What the hell?
Yeah.
Because it's a lakorn
it was
style.
fun. Let's just go with it.
People are getting shot. People are getting poisoned. So why not have pseudo incest
Pseudo-incest.
thrown in at the end?
At least it was one-sided pseudo incest.
One-sided pseudo incest.
I will say this. Can we stop with the terrible wigs? Is it hard to get a good wig in Thailand?
I don't know if it's hard to get a good wig or they're just
not the worst wig I've seen, but it's not the greatest either.
I feel like we have seen way worse wigs in BL before. So comparatively, I feel like it wasn't that bad, but you could still tell that it was very much a wig.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't know why they can't find a single person in Thailand who can install a wig. Like, do you want me to come and do it for you? I feel like I can do it for you. But after that thought, I was going to throw in, because I'm looking at my notes, I was like, do I have anything else that we didn't cover? And it says, side note, Pan looks so good when he's all beaten up and pathetic. And I attest to that.
And
he looked the best in that finale when he got beat the fuck up. And he was like teary-eyed and desperate. Like, that's the best that he has ever looked, I think.
I feel like you're not wrong. I can't disagree. Like, when he was, like, Armin was, like, holding him in his arms, and he was just, like, so, yeah.
Yeah. No, and then when he comes in the hospital, listen, that was his best look, I'm sorry. Like, with the blood on his face.
Yeah.
It was great.
I can't disagree.
That was my,
valid.
That was my final thought, I think. We'll end on
and
that.
You know what? What a note to go out on.
Yeah.
Yes, that is all for our deep dive into Reset. Be sure to let us know what you thought about the series, what elements worked for you, what maybe didn't. Who did you enjoy? Like, who was your favorite character? Leave all of that information down in the comments. I'm curious to see what others thought about the show, and if it landed for everyone else the same way it did for us. But yeah, if you enjoyed the episode, be sure to comment, be sure to like, make sure you're subscribed, do all of those things that help us out with the algorithm. And you can also check out like all of our socials down in the description to follow us on other places. Our Patreon's down there as well, and we have a lot of exclusive content over there. We reacted to, I think, just the pilot trailer for Reset. I don't think we reacted to the official trailer, but it kind of just goes to show how excited we were from this project from the jump. So you can check out that kind of stuff over on our Patreon, and it's a great way to support the show if you're interested. But otherwise, that is going to be all for this week's episode, and we will see you guys in another one. Bye-bye. Bye.